And I think, I feel that one of the big thing in entrepreneurism is really the exposure. If you can see, thing is, when the moment you start thinking about, I want to do something, I feel passionate about something, can I do it? I think the biggest thing is finding someone with whom you can relate to and he has done it before. This institute, I think, gives you a lot of those, use cases, I would say, where an alumni or someone in third year or someone even in first year, even someone even before he got admitted was pursuing an entrepreneurial idea. I think, honestly, I don't know, if you take example of any, let's take example of a famous Bollywood hero, right? Shah Rukh Khan or Amir Khan, they could do what they could do because before that they could see hundreds of, or maybe at least dozen more people who did it same way. So I think one of the thing in entrepreneurism is this really possible, right? I come from a generation where India still produced lot of people who were business heroes. See, in this country, I think there are four type of heroes. One is Bollywood, right? One is cricket, one is politician, and one is a businessman. But until 10 years back, the most businessmen will be the one who were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. So I had nothing, I could not relate to them. My father worked for 35 years with government of Haryana, right? I went to the normal schools. When I was born, he was making 400 rupees a month. So how can I relate to someone who has a last name Birla or Tata and Ambani, right? But when I see Deep Kavra from Make My Trip, when I see Sanjeev Mekhanjandani from Naukri, when I see Sachin Bansal, Biren Bansal from Flipkart, when I see Kunal Bahl from Snapdeal, I think it is possible. If they can do it, I can do it also. Look at that guy, he grew up in Delhi, went to RK Puram DPS and studied there and then started it, right? So one is, in US, it was 1956 when Hewlett and Packard, two students who were going to Stanford, accidentally met Tom Perkins, who later on founded Kleiner Perkins, one of the largest VC fund, and that's how Tom Perkins funded Hewlett and Packard, and it became HP. And this was a modern example of venture capital based startups coming up in Silicon Valley in 1956. And in this country, those type of startups are coming since when? I think 2008, 9, right? So we are into 7 or 8 years, right? So, I think, I personally feel the intellectual horsepower in this country is so powerful that we don't need 60 more years to reach where US is right now, but still 8 years cannot offset the 56 years. Right, or 50, 60 years, whatever it is since that started, right? So anyhow, I'm sure many of you have already done the math and realized that Sandeep Aggarwal is not doing the right math, but you understood my point, right? 8 years versus 60, 70 years. So the point is, exposure is very important. So as an entrepreneur, biggest thing is exposure, right? Now I have been chatting with lot of students since I started coming to this institute. Many of you write to me, you are pursuing your startups and so on. So I see a lot of type of fears. The fear number one, actually, and by the way, I know there's not only students here, so I'll try to keep it, valuable to everyone to the extent possible. But there are a lot of students, they think that if I pursue an entrepreneurship, will it hamper my chances to get back to the job market if the startup does not work out? How many of you suffer from this fear? Okay, I think, maybe I think it's not a good practice for me to ask you to raise hands because you don't want to get exposed. Okay, so second fear is, what if I do a startup, how will it look on my resume if I go for master's or MBA, right? Another fear is, will I get money? Capital raising is never easy. I have this crazy idea, but I can't do it alone. Do I have other team members, right? What about my opportunity cost? I can graduate from this premier institute, make, pardon me, I'm not implying any job offers you get, but let's call it between 10 lakh to 25 lakh rupees, I can get it. And so, it's a very big check to walk away from. 3 years from now, my profile will be on shadi.com. How it will be perceived by my future in-laws that I'm doing a startup versus telling them, hi, I work with Facebook, or I work with Citibank, or I work with Google India, and so on. And by the way, no offense to any of those companies, they are great employers, but I'm just giving you as example, right? So these are the many fears, honestly, especially in a youth. But trust me, the fears could be different at different age and stage of your life, right? I had a fear that how can I walk away when I was starting Shopclues? How can I walk away from a $1 million annual job? Why will I go to India? I have been living in San Francisco for 15 years. I'm on CNBC, Fox, ABC News every second day. As an entrepreneur, nobody will come to know unless I'm very successful. How will I form a team, right? Will my team stay with me? What if someone, right? What if someone turns out to be Judah, right? Right? So, there are a lot of these kind of fears, right? And what if I run out of capital, right? Is the market timing right? Am I too early or am I too late, right? These are the different type of fears. So my point is, I just highlighted some examples of fear when you're a student, some example when you have a day job, but there will always be fear. And then the biggest question comes, how do I know when I am ready to do this, right? And I have mentioned this always, this has been my life philosophy. I think you are ready to do an entrepreneurial journey when you are no longer asking yourself the question that, am I ready? That's the day you are ready, right? That's the day you are ready, otherwise there will always be fear, right? Second thing I would say is that while my undergrad is not engineering, so I will never come to know what does it take to be an engineer, but I would say that I see in lot of people who are trying to do something, they have everything mapped out. They have this linear equation that this will happen this 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 2 years from now. But let me tell you, there's not even a single startup on earth which has seen a straight line, right? The startup is a most unpredictable, biggest roller coaster. It's the biggest roller coaster, bigger than Disneyland has created. Okay, it will take you to different rides. Nothing is straight line, right? So just be mindful of that. It will never be a straight line. Another thing I would say is that, if I have a job, I can be average, I can be rock star, I can be performing well, based on feedback, I can start to do well. But in entrepreneurism, there is no guarantee for hard work. First of all, by the way, a lot of people with a very sharp brain, they always are looking for the retirement. They want to work very less. They want to do something so that the money keeps on coming, popularity keeps on growing, but never have to work very hard. But entrepreneurism is hard work, guys. There is no shortcut. It's a hard work. Okay, I was telling to the coordinator before this session, in my first job, everyone worked for 40 hours a week in San Francisco. I probably worked 50 hours. It helped me to maybe get promotion or do better than my peer group. Then I joined Microsoft. People work longer hours there, 50, 60 hours a week. I worked maybe 60, 70 hours. It helped me to grow. Then I came to Wall Street. People were very famous of working 80, 90 hours per week. I worked 90 to 110 hours. I used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to be in office at 4:30 because you have to work with the New York Times, New York's stock exchange timing. And when I started Shopclues, I realized I was working 20 hours per day and 7 days a week, right? And then I realized by June, actually, I started having sleeping problem. So my point is, there's always a lot of hard work in entrepreneurism. It's a choice of career, right? So don't choose this because it can be glamorous. Don't choose this because it will be fast money. Don't choose this because others are choosing it. Choose it when you feel passionate about it. When your passion, your energy, your ambitions are not being met or satisfied by the other options you have, right? Also, if you have an idea which you think the regret of walking away from that will be bigger than anything you give up, or you have come up with something, many of you have data science background, many of you are working on some kind of inventions and innovative things. So if you think you have this eureka moment where you have come up with something which can be very big, just pursue it. More often you will be right about your first feeling about your idea than wrong, right? So anyhow, so my point is, entrepreneurship is a lot of hard work. It's not a straight line, and whatever hunch you develop in the beginning, it turns out to be true. It turns out to be true. In fact, on hunch, I would also like to say, a lot of you had asked me about team. How should I create a team? Right? If you meet someone and you see some initial chemistry, trust me, that chemistry will always be there. But if you meet someone and you are uncomfortable, trust me, it will only get worse. And in a modern style, how we all work, whether in an entrepreneur or in a job, we end up spending more time at work than with our wife or husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, parents or siblings or kids. Isn't it? Right? Even if you're spending 8-9 hours at work and 2-3 hours in commute and 8-9 hours in sleeping, 2 hours in eating, think about it, how much time you have left with your loved ones. Right? So you have to be very careful how you choose your team members. Right? In terms of money raising, when you are as an entrepreneur, you always think, why money raising has to be this difficult, right? Why money raising is difficult? And then I see a lot of people's tendency, they try to offer arm and leg for a very meager amount of capital, for a very small amount of capital. But guys, my advice to this will be, the capital is linked to the stage of the business you are. Okay, maybe I was lucky, maybe I had different type of experience, but I can tell you both Shopclues and Dromes, I raised first 2 rounds of capital without second person in the team, without a product. But what I presented was Sandeep Aggarwal as entrepreneur, my passion, energy, personality, idea, vision, and lot of articulation of what I can do. So, I see people here, I see a lot of entrepreneurs, not only here, everywhere. They try to think that, can I have a product? Can I have a team? Can I have an office? Can I give a product demo? Can I show profitability? Can I show scale? Then someone will give me money. And when you fall into this trap, it's a slippery slope. You try to, what then happens? It's called over-promise, under-deliver. If I check a 3-year-old baby's lung, it's not going to be equivalent. Does not matter how strong is that baby. That lung is not going to be equivalent of an adult's lung, isn't it? Same way, if I'm meeting a company or if I'm meeting someone, one of you, who say, Sandeep, I want to pursue this startup. That time it is only, honestly, that's your first round of capital. That time who you are, what's your background, what idea are you pursuing, what is the market opportunity, what is the competition, how are you different, how will you take it to the next level, do you have any other team member, perhaps this much is enough. Next round of capital, maybe whatever I said previously, plus these are my 3 team members, I operate from this little office and I have this early stage of wireframes for my product, right? Third stage is you are saying, this is my, everything else I told you, plus this is my office, these are the 7 people, here is my product, this is how it works, and I have some early sign of traction. That is your third round of capital, right? Fourth round of capital is everything else what I mentioned, plus look at the sign of traction. My business is being adopted, the product has a great demand in the market, I'm hiring leaps and bounds. Last time when I met you, I had 7 people. Today I have 43. My product is being valued now, right? And so that is your kind of growth capital round.